I originally played the demo for Men of War probably around 15 years ago, and I thought it was fun. In fact, I thought it was so much fun that a couple of years later I bought Men of War Assault Squad 1 and 2, which came out later in the franchise. I played them for around 200 hours total, but I never played the original Men of War, and I wanted to check out these games again, so let's give it a whirl. But first, let's go over some backstory. Men of War is a sprawling series that was originally developed by Bestway, a Ukrainian company, and Digital Mindsoft, which is a German company. It was published by Fulcrum Publishing, which is apparently based out of Czechia and may be owned by Tencent, and 505 Games. It gets weirder because back in 2004, Soldiers Heroes of World War II was released, which was also developed by Bestway Studios and was published with 1C Company based out of Russia, as well as Codemasters. And they then went on to produce Faces of War in 2006, which was actually published by 1C and Ubisoft. These are predecessors to the Men of War series, which were not all developed by Bestway. For example, Men of War Red Tide, Men of War Vietnam, and Men of War Condemned Heroes were all developed by 1C Entertainment and published by 1C Company, but Men of War Assault Squad 1 and 2, which were more or less focused on multiplayer, but they have some single-player mods and scenarios, were both developed by Digital Mindsoft, that German company. These are not meant to be confused with newer efforts like Men of War 2, which was also developed by Bestway. Digital Mindsoft went back to a different direction with Call to Arms, which is focused on modern combat, but it's essentially a dead game due to the lack of ongoing content, updates and support and that kind of shit. Then a third-party game was released. It was based on the Call to Arms engine branch, and it's called Gates of Hell Ostfront. It was developed by Barbed Wire Studios and published by Digital Mindsoft, and it has more of a gritty World War II type vibe again, and it's actually a standalone title now that does not need the Call to Arms game due to a semi-recent update. Now that I cleared all that up, let's hop into the game itself. Men of War from 2009. There are 3 different campaigns which cover the Soviet, Allied, and German armies and fronts and stuff, but in this video we're only going to cover the Soviet one because recording it took a whole lot longer than I thought it would. And working 8 hours at my job, then coming back home to get butt blasted by Germans for hours on end wasn't sustainable for my sanity enough to do it with all the campaigns within a month for my upload schedule. It's the kind of thing that usually takes 6 years, I believe. I might look at other campaigns in the future, but we'll just roll with this one for now. Before we get started though, I do want to mention that if at any point in this video you say to yourself, oh hey, that actually looks kind of fun, I should buy this, I would stop you right there and inform you that you should just buy Gates of Hell Ostfront instead. I can 100% guarantee you that it will be the better experience, and it's practically the same game, but improved in every way. Anyways, back to Men of War. The Soviet campaign is called Road to Victory. I started the campaign on the hard difficulty because I thought it would be funny, but we'll get into that part later. It's centered around 2 characters that we'll be experiencing the Eastern Front from. The story doesn't really matter though. The Eastern Front during World War II was, to put it simply, not fun. It was especially not fun for Stalin as it got bamboozled by Hitler in a tiny little skirmish known as Operation Barbarossa. I won't be showing all the exposition from the cutscenes, but they're brief and informational. It takes me back to the ones from Call of Duty 2 with all the real footage and stuff. It's kinda neat.
Because the Red Army was in dire need of recruits, a decision was made to enlist every able male to defend the motherland. The ranks of the Red Army were swelled with graduates and senior students. This decision determined the fate of 2 friends, Viktor Smirnov and Alexei Kuznetsov. Yesterday they were students at Rostov Technical School. Today they are Red Army soldiers standing on the drill ground beneath an autumn sky, awaiting assignment. For them, this war is just beginning.
Mission 1, Baptism by Fire, starts about how you think it would in a game based on the worst war in human history so far.
Knocked off a track! Damn it!
You bet. Half a day wasted. At least we're alive.
What should we do now?
It'll be alright, Victor. We'll make it. Hello? Any survivors? What the hell is going on here?
Stop yelling, Alexei. You'll bring the Germans down on us. You're alive. That's good enough. You better tell me what we should do next.
Germans! Quick! Hide!
Once we hop into the game itself, an armored vehicle known as the Sevastopol 222 rolls up on us with the intent to turn us into Swiss cheese. If I did not have hundreds of hours of experience in this Eurojank game series, I'd be shitting bricks, but with some well-placed anti-tank grenades, we can blow it up without too many problems. After that, we get an extremely dry situation report from somebody.
Guys, this is bad. German dive bombers have destroyed our column and our commander is dead. We must advance several hundred meters to the village of Udino, where Captain Semenov's battalion should be holding the line there. He will give us further instructions.
He sounds extremely stressed. I can feel his emotion from here in the pre-Pearl Harbor America.
You've managed to get here, I see. From the looks of you, I'd say you took a good beating. Our situation is no better. We are lucky to be alive. Ammunition is running low and the Germans are advancing in large numbers. I have a direct order to hold these positions, which means your platoon will have to get into the action. All I can do is transfer a few of my men to your unit. My men are entrenched over there. Take some of them with you. You would have a hard time on your own.
The formula that separates Men of War from any other standard real-time strategy game is the amount of interactability with the environment and the control of your units. Did your squad ambush somebody and kill them? You can loot their body for supplies. Do you want to throw a grenade up the hill? You can order a specific person to do it. Do you want to take direct control of a unit to manually gun down some enemies? Go right ahead. It's thorough enough so that microing units matters on the tactical level, but strategically you can move around entire squads and support units into their proper positions. It's the best of both worlds, but let's just focus on taking out this MG checkpoint for now. And I know what you're thinking, damn, this game looks like shit. It turns out that I misread the settings options, so instead of maximum quality, it's set to maximum performance, so it'll look better in the next mission. That's my bad. Once the MG crew is dealt with, we get the objective to repair this tank. We'll be repairing vehicles in just about every other mission in this entire game, so it's good that the game teaches you how to do it now. You can also repair enemy tanks that you disabled, and you can use them against the enemies. Isn't that fucking cool? Isn't this game so fucking awesome? Oops, all Germans in the nearby village. Let's cover the basics of tank combat. Armor-piercing rounds are meant for the enemy armored vehicles, as these shells can puncture their holes. High explosive rounds are what you want for artillery, mortars, machine guns, and primarily infantry units. The machine guns assist in keeping the infantry at bay. You need to keep all the enemy infantry as far away from you as possible, because one guy with one anti-tank grenade can blow your shit up. As you don't want your shit to get blown up. That's the one thing you don't want to have happen, is to have your shit get blown up. The enemy's line of sight and weapon ranges also appear to be super low. It's definitely not like anything you'd see in Gates of Hell Ostfront. It's probably because of the technical limitations of 2009 PC hardware and a lower draw distance for rendering items, which helps the performance, but it does feel a bit unrealistic because these, you can, it's super close together, and you tell me it can't shoot like 200 meters out? Either way, we're blowing these guys up. The entire Men of War series, newer ones included, essentially require the player to micromanage key units and missions, because otherwise they get killed and die and wander off and get shot. Like right here. What the fuck are you doing? Stay in cover, stupid! And right here where this guy just runs into my tank and I accidentally run them over. Fucking stupid ass idiot. We blow up all the enemies in the village and they get told to attack a nearby hill that has an enemy fortification on it, which is guarding the road, which has a convoy on it that we have to also attack. I guess World War II had a lot of attacks.
It seems we kicked their asses out of here. Now it's time to take that hill near the road and assault their convoy. Let's do it, people. You can only die once.
As soon as I fire a single shot, the German infantry starts running directly at my armored fortress of a tank, which is absolutely fucking insane. They get smashed, and after which we start attacking the convoy, which is even more insane. It's an absolute slaughter. This is the first mission of the game and we're already seeing this unreal quantity of enemies. It's not a regular firefight. Let's see how the damage model works on the tanks. So my track is screwed, but my turret still works, so all the damage is granular depending on what gets hit with what. In this case, I could probably repair the tank, but this is the last enemy, so the mission ends.
Our order was simple. Take position in Udino and prepare the defense line for motorized infantry regiment. However, fate decided otherwise.
Get used to seeing numbers like this.
Our company.
You see? Everything's dismantled. The loading's nearly over.
The Germans are approaching the plant. You have less than half an hour.
Can't you understand how important it is?
I do. That's why we're here. But we can't hold them for long.
Gennady Stepanovich! Coming! I'm sorry. We'll have to go. Please understand. The equipment is very valuable.
In this one, we gotta protect some trains while a bunch of supplies are getting moved onto them. I always liked defensive missions in Men of War games due to the amount of options we get. Anti-tank cannons, landmines, it's all here. One thing you'll absolutely want to do is take advantage of the time slowing option by hitting backspace. It's imperative to actually get stuff done in the limited amount of time before an attack shows up in the single player campaigns and scenarios, because you have to load the landmines into your soldiers' inventory, tell them to place them, then they go and do it, but you need to repeat that for as many people as you have. It's clunky. I placed a bunch of stuff all over the place, but an enemy recon group does a probe.
They are already here! The Germans are near the boiler house!
Ha! Is that the best they can do? They are fleeing like rats from a sinking ship.
This was just a recon unit. Soon, the main forces will arrive and things will get nasty. We have very little time to prepare.
Now we really have to hurry because there's no timer for when the rest of the enemy forces are arriving.
The Germans are advancing on the boiler house.
Once the attack begins in its full strength, I go with the second speed option due to how much micro there is. It gets chaotic pretty quick. At around 50% of the total cargo being loaded, the enemies hold back a bit, giving us some time to lay down some more defenses, so I go ahead and do that.
The Germans have given us a small break, so we must use it to our advantage. Mine the approach paths to the train and plug the gaps in our defenses.
I was confident in my defensive structures, so much so that I in fact go to the Speed 5 option, which is an insane thing to do.
Hold the pump station. The Germans are putting pressure on us.
Hold the factory office building. The Germans are preparing another attack.
I figured I would die, and to an extent I did, or at least my men did, but somehow I just barely eked out a victory.
We have finished loading the equipment. Board the train. Let's move it.
Come on, Alexei!
The Germans were so close to reaching the train, yet we were able to stop them at the last minute.
The next thing we see is a really cool, badass cutscene that shows us breaking free after we got taken prisoner, and then we get thrown into the shit.
And this is the smartest choice of all you have.
Yeah, Soviet rock music is so fucking cool. Damn, he stabbed that guy shot the other guy. It's fucking cool as shit. Fucking guitar solo. He did that shit.
And it cuts to this.
Thanks to a sudden resistance attack on the village, Alexei Kuznetsov managed to deal with the guards and escape. He has now joined the resistance in an attack on the SS headquarters located to the north.
Some resistance members are attacking this prisoner of war camp, so I plan on using that to my advantage.
It's just my luck that the guerrillas decided to harass the Germans today. I need to help these guys. I can't just run away like a coward.
We need to kill the guards, save some other prisoners, steal some documents, then escape. But it's not easy. All we start off with is a pistol. I get destroyed countless times. I died so many times that I decided that the next mission will just go with the normal difficulty. Okay, now we're just going to do the normal difficulty for the rest of the game. I stumble across an ammo truck full of goodies, and as we start making headway, we lose the objective of joining the guerrilla fighters because too many of them got blasted. I was too late.
Damn it. They are moving in from all directions. Retreat towards the fortress.
Retreat! We will try to stall them.
As we ransack the SS headquarters, we are told to escape. Sounds good to me, but it's actually not good because a tank is in the way and I shot all the anti-armor rounds already. It took me like 40 minutes to get this far in this mission, and now we've got to start from the beginning again to make sure these tanks get blasted. This mission is fucking hard. Okay, let's do it again for real this time. After countless attempts with save scumming, we save everybody we can on the map, take out the Germans, and bounce. Hopefully the next mission's a bit better. That last one was tricky.
We got our hands on some valuable loot. It turned out I was taken to a temporary recruitment camp. The Germans have a whole network of such camps on the occupied territories.
We get a long chunk of exposition about historical shit, but the gist is we are under attack and we need to hold the line. There are not many supplies around the area, mostly just anti-tank rifles, machine guns, and anti-tank grenades, so I guess that actually is kind of a lot of stuff. We have a few minutes to buckle in before we start getting pushed on. So we have the grenades for blowing up the armored vehicles heading our way, but the problem is getting close enough to them without getting shot to death. Even worse, we start getting bombs dropped on us by enemy aircraft.
Enemy plane!
Little moments like this is what makes microing units so important during defensive battles. Tiny bouts of courage can destroy entire tanks, easing the pressure on the defensive line. One thing you'll have to keep an eye on, especially on defensive missions like this, is the fact that your people can run out of ammunition. They don't automatically run to get more ammunition or loot bodies, you have to do it for them. Even worse, there isn't an icon above the units that shows you when they're out of ammo. Later entries of the series ameliorated this with icons and automated supply caches, but here it's a manual effort. So far, I'm kind of surprised by how difficult the game is. I wasn't expecting World War II to be easy, but this is just fucked up, man. It doesn't help that the accuracy of every weapon and soldier is super shitty. I understand that it had to be scaled down because of the technology at the time couldn't render large maps for the majority of players, but anti-tank cannons should not be missing shots at this range. Towards the end of the first defensive line, it gets to be a bit much, but as we were defending the front line, the rear line was getting emplacements like trenches, anti-tank mines, and stuff like that placed, so we get the opportunity to fall back and do it all again. We have some breathing room, but soon enough they start rushing us. Luckily, we get the ability to call in some reinforcements with points that replenish during the mission, so when our tanks, anti-tank cannons, and infantry start getting blown up and gunned down, we can call in some additional units to hold the line. It's pretty hefty. I kept the game one notch lower than the regular speed on account of all the micro I have to do. At one point, some enemy mortar units try to pull a fast one and flank on the right side, but I put some guys there and they got fucking blown up and shot to death. That's just the way it goes. The real saving grace is the amount of anti-tank mines that were placed during our initial defense. They are blowing up the majority of enemy armor. If that wasn't the case, I'd be fucked. After enough time, the reinforcements arrive, and that means we have to push them back. Some additional goodies are allotted for us to buy now, heavy tanks that have a much higher caliber of armor-piercing rounds, so we can really lay waste into those German tanks. I took my time to push up, taking out infantry, cannons, and armor along the front. Better safe than sorry. Eventually we took them out and secured the village, completing this mission. Nice.
We didn't allow the Germans to advance towards Moscow that day. We paid a high price, but our capital is not just a city. Moscow is the heart of our country, the symbol of our endurance.
A network of intelligence schools with its headquarters in Germany. Who gave you these papers?
I've explained everything. Do you want me to repeat it?
I've read your testimony. We shall check it by all means. And now... Company, 10 hot! Today you have the chance to wash off your crimes with blood. Combat order. Capture and hold Hill 243 until reinforcements arrive. There's a war going on, which means that any sounds of cowardice will be punishable by death.
Oh, this'll be fun. In World War II, the Soviets occasionally used penal units full of prisoners, as you might imagine, and sent them into the front lines without much weaponry to work with. That's who we're going to be charging the front lines with. It seems like a relatively standard capture and hold mission. We only control a squad's worth of units, and the rest of the friendly AI is controlled by the computer.
Go, comrades! If we are to die, let's kill as many of them as we can! Go!
They make the charge straight into some landmines, and I intend to follow them.
Guys! This area is mine!
From a distance. We do not have any grenades, only rifles, submachine guns, and some bandages. The ammunition is sparse as well. We'll have to loot some of our fallen comrades to survive this one. It's a fucking bloodbath. After some flanking and close quarters combat, however, we eventually capture the first line, which spawns in some light tanks to reinforce us. This changes the situation, allowing us to easily take out some machine guns, but we still need to watch out for anti-tank weapons. Men of War has a nice balance. Even tanks can be extremely vulnerable if you don't use them correctly. You have to think about what you're doing, and what could be out there that could blow you into fucking pieces. As we take the nearby church, I start repurposing a lot of the enemy equipment, like their machine gun emplacements and cannons. We're gonna need them for the defense later, I just have a feeling about it.
Soldiers, bring artillery, vehicles, and munitions to the hill. Take anything you can find. We must prepare to counterattack.
After a slog, we capture the main hill and they get 5 minutes to set up some defenses. Oh boy, better be quick. I start placing some handy mines, reposition my tanks, men, and cannons, and start putting people into these anti-aircraft cannons that are already on the hill, which suck.
Enemy aircraft! It's going to attack!
This plane keeps harassing us, but these anti-aircraft guns have the worst range ever. This is when the small scale of the game feels stupid. It's practically right over us, and my direct control crosshair is red, meaning that the plane is out of range. Whatever. The only thing it blows up is our allies who are driving down the road as set pieces, so I guess I'm fine with it. They weren't going to be helping us in the next fight. Soon our 5 minutes expire and we have another 5 minutes to defend the point. And it's actually really easy. I over-prepared. I don't think they expected this many people to survive the attack. The first bunch of enemies gets smacked by my AA gun, and the next gets smacked by the German cannons I stole. The only thing that sucks is that some infantry sneaks up on the right side because my men are blind, they don't feel like shooting them. You saw how far away I took the first shots, but my guys just let them waltz on up. This is why the game speed options and the direct control options are so important. The AI drops the ball, so you have to manually fuck with them to ensure they don't get grenaded. Speaking of the right side, this is ass. They flank us by popping out of the fog with a visibility of maybe like 60 meters or something. It's not fair or realistic, and I lost a tank because of it. Either way, we beat it. It wasn't that hard on the defensive side. In the next cutscene has our protagonist get told that the documents had some juicy shit in it, and we gotta go with our commissar.
We have checked your data, Lieutenant.
Junior.
And Lieutenant already. Do you know what was in the documents you brought?
Not really. I had no time to look at them.
You have the chance now. Pack up. You're coming with me.
Interesting.
We took the hill and kept our positions in one of the hardest won victories in living memory. We had many wounded among us.
Alright, so now we're at Sevastopol and it's under siege.
Under lockdown.
Some boats are evacuating civilians and we need to make sure they all make it out. This mission has 2 defensive lines and some reinforcements to give us, but it's still going to suck. The most difficult part is managing the armored vehicles. We only have a few cannons, and the only reinforcement we get for those is a lighter caliber round, which is basically useless. But these things are useless by themselves due to their inaccuracy, so who can really say which one's worse? It's honestly kind of bullshit. I got absolutely wrecked the first time around.
Germans broke through our central positions, and they're threatening our flanks. The Germans are entrenched on the right flank.
Third assault on Sevastopol in June 1942.
There's not really a way to strategize it, you just have to order more meat for the grinder. After that bloodbath, we get to fall back, which grants us access to this big-ass cannon thing, which is big. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. The problem with the cannon is the long reload time of over 2 minutes, so we need to be wise with shooting it.
Enemy aircraft! Take cover! Panzers on the left flank. Another ship has moved off.
The defense goes on for a while as more and more boats are picked up and more reinforcements are ordered, but we get a cutscene.
The Germans have brought heavy artillery and are shelling our positions.
The Germans are rolling out their wonder weapons, giant, jumbo-sized artillery pieces. Using my quick reflexes, I blast one of them with our own big-ass cannon, but the other one is behind this rock, so we have to grab one of these tanks that spawned in and take it out. It took a few shots, but blasting it from a point-blank range did the trick. It bought us some more time in our defense. After that, we continued to barely hang on to the last defensive line before the beach, and then all the boats escaped.
Yet another ship leaves the shore. We've done it, chaps. All ships have left the bay. Now, even death won't scare us. Go! Let's show the Germans how we fight here in Sevastopol.
What a mess. It's so difficult. I can't even imagine doing this on the hard difficulty.
That day we achieved the impossible. The enemy attacked again and again, but we stood our ground.
From there, it goes all the way to 1945.
Alexei! Is it you? You bet! I should have known it was you when I mentioned Kuznetsov's recon squad.
The moment I found out who was commanding this front area.
The story doesn't really matter. I don't know why I keep showing off parts of the cutscenes, but this mission is all about stealth and sneaking around during the night in this battlefield. We need to gather intelligence, clear some minefields, and do some shenanigans like that. It's not a huge bombastic blitzkrieg battle like the last mission was. I honestly thought the last mission was the last mission of the campaign, but we're still going at it. The introductory cutscene points out a few spots in the enemy's defensive line that we can push through, and I started to snipe a few people to clear the way, but I killed too many of the enemy infantry and got warned that they would call in for enemy reinforcements, so I have to try again and find a better way.
Damn it! We are leaving too much evidence behind. Any more and the Germans will be alarmed. They call for reinforcements and our cause will be lost.
One of the objectives for scouting entails making sure that every single enemy is marked on the map, so that'll be fun. The best way to progress through the level is to crawl around at the 5th speed option. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. We find some mines and mark them all, then we find every enemy on the map, and then we plant some explosives and some vehicles, and then we escape the area. It seems really fast in the video, but you spend like an hour dodging all the things, even at like the 5th time speed option. It's crazy.
Kuznetsov is on air!
Thank God! He's alive!
It then cuts to the next phase of the mission. We have to assault the hill that we just sabotaged, which means I fucked up and I should have been more cautious and thoughtful when I placed everything. Whoops. It's a slaughter, but I do have to give the developers credit. It is a cool mechanic to do the special ops stuff on the enemy positions that you would be attacking later. I just wish it was a bit more clear. I assumed that the first phase was the entire mission, but oh well, that's what save games are for. I load an older save, and I start placing stuff a bit differently, and I also found a radio station that I destroyed. Maybe it'll stop some reinforcements from coming in. Let's see if that helps at all during the assault. It's about the same level of fucked up. The first part of the hills are fine, but the later sections made me want to gouge my eyes out. I safe-scummed the ever-living shit out of this section. Flamethrowers, tanks, mortars, artillery, bombing runs. It's like hell. This level is a good demonstration of the inherent issues I have with the entire Men of War franchise. The ability to granularly control units on an individual level is required to perform actions that the AI is too dumb to figure out by themselves, but that means you're unable to make movements and decisions on the higher level at the same time, so you have to hope that your AI isn't getting destroyed due to their own incompetence. It's the worst on levels like this, with the sheer amount of stuff you have to keep an eye on. If one soldier runs out of ammo, you have to restock his supplies manually. This can happen at the same time as a mortar lobbing bombs at an entire squad or a tank rolling down the hill. All of these can happen at the same time. I lost my shit at multiple times while recording this. It took me like 2 hours to beat, and that's just by barely scraping by on the normal difficulty. But somehow I managed to beat it.
Another victory, an important one.
So in a complete vibe shift from the last destructive war zone, we are back to the special sneaky ops stuff. We need to steal some spy shit related to lists and documents, but one of our guys got injured off screen by a German patrol, so first we need medical supplies.
Sergeant Grishenko was wounded during an incident with a German patrol.
Using our trusty speed number 5 option, it doesn't take too long until we get to ambush the chumbos at this house and steal their band-aids. This honestly feels like it should have been earlier in the campaign. It's pretty easy.
Excellent. Just what the injured need.
We heal our guy, and then it cuts to a few hours later, and we have to infiltrate the base to interrogate the officer.
Let's head for the base.
Look, there goes the officer. He must know the location of all documents.
Which we do via cutscene.
One move and you're dead. Where's the archive with all the documentation? Tell me.
There are no documents here. Please don't shoot. The archive was taken away by plane last night. I don't know where. Maybe Falster. Find the pilot. He must know.
Okay, wait here. We'll be back if it turns out you're lying.
He said that the information we are looking for was taken by plane to a different location, so we need to follow in their footsteps. But there's not really footsteps because it's a seaplane. So I guess we follow in their wake? That's the mission.
Unfortunately, my group was too late. Due to the threat of a Soviet attack on the Zelo defense line, the Abwehr couriers had evacuated all important documents.
Now we're sneaking up onto the last mission of the Soviet campaign. It's some more spy stuff. There's a big-ass submarine that's full of juicy intel that we can't let escape, and we have to take out a flak gun and a radio for support. It sounds simple enough, let's give it a whirl. At this point I was pretty burnt on the game, and this mission doesn't really help. It's tedious. Luckily, we have a sniper rifle so we can systematically shoot everybody, and then exploit the AI by having them bunch up, and then we can blow them up and gun them down with explosives and machine guns, which speeds the process up. We get some reinforcements, which is kind of fun.
Hurry up! The garrison has been alerted and the Germans will be here any minute. To arms!
So we keep blowing up guys and make it to the submarine, but we need to cut it open because they buttoned down the hatches. Cool, of course they did.
The crew has locked themselves inside the sub. We need to find a way of getting inside. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some cutting here.
So we proceed to the only welding equipment nearby and grab it.
Fire shots! Fire shots!
So I drag this oxyacetylene torch all the way to the submarine, and, I try to attack with it. I set it down, I get back on it, I abandoned it, I move all the guys onto the submarine. Nothing is working. They're not opening the fucking hatch. I thought maybe something was bugged, so I went ahead and killed every single enemy on the map, but that didn't do anything either. God fucking damn it. When enemy reinforcements came, I had to Google it to see what was going on. Let's see. No, that's not it. No. No. Oh, there it is.
And so we need to open the hatch by unlocking it somehow.
Thank you so much, AF guides. I would have gone insane otherwise. Some enemies approach, but luckily I fixed up a tank in the interim time period, and it promptly destroys the enemies. Awesome, I'm just counting down the time to the final cutscene. We do some more defending, and then some fellas get inside the submarine as a big-ass barge approaches, and we need to open the dock gate.
Guys, I don't want to spoil the party, but it seems we're going nowhere. Problems are arising where they are least expected. I'm inside. The crew is scared to death. They did not expect us. The papers are on board, packed inside crates and waiting for us.
It's not too bad. Driving the tank up there, I flip the switch and we're off.
Success! The gate is open. Let's deal with the barge now.
Take that!
That's some epic ass shit.
What's this all about?
Don't you know?
So I guess like the spies were revealed, like the double agents, so like now it's more clear, I guess.
May I ask you as an officer?
After we talk. Take him away!
Colonel, I was told you were here.
I'm done here. Let's go, Major.
You know, more purging, maybe. I don't know. It's not crazy, but that's about it.
It's clear cut about the captain. I doubt he will say anything of interest, but the rest is much more interesting.
Would I recommend playing Men of War? Not really. I guess if you really want to, go ahead, but if any part of this video made you think, oh wow, that actually looked kind of fun or interesting, I would just recommend buying a copy of Gates of Hell Ostfront, because in all honesty, it's practically the same game, but vastly improved. It has more of a grittier, depressing tone versus Men of War's heroic Call of Duty 1-ish vibe, but the gameplay is far superior. But yeah, the Soviet campaign was rewarding to play. I'm not going to use the word fun to describe it, or interesting really, for that matter. But you know what, maybe even rewarding isn't the right word. All I can say is that I played it, and I beat it on the normal difficulty. Maybe that's all we can do. Enjoy video games made about the most fucked up war in human history. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe we'll look at another one of these games or campaigns in this franchise at a later point, but who knows. If you want to see more videos, you can hit all the buttons or become a member like these fine individuals. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Ever driven a submarine? Me neither. My unit accomplished its mission. The documents were found and delivered to our commanders. The capture of the agent lists allowed us to uncover the complex sabotage network operating in our motherland. As it turned out, the agents were found among simple workers, engineers, privates, and officers. Now we have a tough job ahead of us to rid Soviet society of these dangerous types. It seems I will be kept quite busy for a few years to come.